ever noticed how some people just seem to, I don't know, flow towards their goals, while others, well, they stumble, they give up, sometimes just days into trying something new?
Yeah, it's a really common pattern.
And it's not just luck, right? Yeah. Or some hidden talent, or even like a quick burst of motivation. I think there's something deeper going on.
Absolutely, something much more foundational.
So today, we're going to dive deep, try and uncover that underlying mechanism for lasting success. And we're pulling insights from two really interesting, maybe surprisingly complementary worlds.
Mm-hmm.
We've got the profound personal development ideas from, the legendary Napoleon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're looking at the high stakes, real-world environment of Wall Street trading through the eyes of veteran Peter Tuchman.
With a fascinating pairing.
Our mission is basically to pull out the most potent, actionable stuff for you, the listener.
Yeah, it really is incredible because despite these vastly different contexts, you've got personal growth philosophy from decades back and then this super intense finance world today.
Right.
Both sources, surprisingly, point to a pretty universal set of principles. We're talking consistency, discipline, strategic action.
Okay.
So this deep dive, we're going to distill their wisdom, hopefully help you cultivate these traits, in your own life, whatever you're pursuing.
Okay, so let's unpack this then. What truly distinguishes those who make it from those who quit? Napoleon Hill. He offers a really compelling answer here.
He does.
It's not that fleeting inspiration, is it, that kind of sustains long-term success? Inspiration, he warns, it's like the wind blows in, blows out. You can't build on that.
No, it's totally unpredictable.
The real difference maker, he argues, is perseverance, the ability to show up every single day, regardless of how you feel or what's going on around you.
Exactly. Hill's pushing us way beyond that temporary enthusiasm that just fizzles out.
Yeah.
This is about a quieter thing, a persistent discipline that doesn't really rely on your emotions day to day. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
The strength to keep going when you're tired or bored or things just aren't clicking, that's the bedrock.
Okay.
And it's so crucial to get that. Consistency is not a gift, it's a skill. It's a choice. Like a muscle, It actually strengthens the more you use it.
Like a muscle.
Yeah. And what's really insightful is how both Hill and then Tuchman decades later, they saw this wasn't just like a metaphor. It's fundamental.
Yeah.
Human behavior, even neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
You're literally building new pathways,
Yeah.
making it easier over time.
That idea, consistency as a muscle, that's really powerful. So how does building that muscle then lead to something as big as self-trust, in Hill's view?
Well, think about it. Every single time you push past laziness, right? Every time you keep a promise to yourself.
Okay.
You're not just, ticking a box. You're silently, but really powerfully proving to yourself, hey, I'm someone I can actually rely on.
Okay. I see.
And that's self-trust. That's foundational. Absolutely foundational. When you internalize that reliability, you stop waiting around for motivation. You stop depending on your mood.
Right.
You become the driving force, independent of all that other stuff, those feelings that come and go.
So to start building that muscle, especially if it feels big, daunting, what's the first step?
Hill's advice here is honestly profound because it's so simple. It says, start small. So small you can't fail.
So small you can't fail.
Like 5 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of journaling, maybe just one push-up every morning.
Serious? One push-up?
Yeah. The immediate goal isn't like massive progress or even enjoying it at first.
Yeah.
It's about making that commitment simply because this is who you want to become. These tiny, consistent acts, they send this repeated message to your brain. This is who I am now.
Yeah.
And with enough repetition, your brain doesn't just believe it. It starts to expect it. It becomes automatic.
Okay, starting small. Makes total sense for building that self-trust muscle. But, even with the best intentions, we hit these roadblocks, right? These invisible enemies. Hill talks about procrastination. Not just laziness, he says, but your brain's defense mechanism when you're facing fear or uncertainty or just feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. It's a response.
And sometimes it wears this really tricky disguise. Perfectionism. Sounds good, right? Noble, even. But Hill argues it's often the sneakiest kind of procrastination, just stealing your time and energy.
Oh, absolutely. And what's fascinating is that Hill gives us these really practical, almost like psychological hacks to fight back. He knew the biggest hurdle is often just starting.
Right. Getting over that initial hump.
Yeah. So that's where the 5-minute rule comes in. You just tell yourself, okay, I only need to do this for 5 minutes, then I can stop if I really want to.
Okay.
But what happens? more often than not, once you start, you just keep going. You go way past the 5 minutes because action, even that tiny bit of action, generates momentum.
Momentum.
And that works really well with pushing for progress over perfection. Nothing excellent is born perfect on the first try. He'll hammer this home. Done is better than perfect when perfect never gets done.
That's a good line. Done is better than perfect.
Right. And then, for tackling that someday I'll do it trap, artificial deadlines. Set a clear cutoff. Make it non-negotiable. Schedule it like an actual appointment you can't miss.
Like blocking it out in your calendar?
Exactly. And finally, simple environmental control. Turn off the phone pings, close the extra tabs, clean your desk maybe, put your phone somewhere else entirely. Combine that with accountability, tell someone your goal, let them check in. He reckoned that doubles your chances of following through.
Wow.
These seem like small tactical things, but they add up. They're what really create lasting behavioral change.
So we've covered the internal battles, shaping personal actions. But what about the world around us, our environment? How much does that actually influence our internal drive?
Oh, it's huge. A massive piece of the puzzle. Hill basically argued it's incredibly difficult to change yourself if you keep everything else around you exactly the same. Your environment, he said, is silently reprogramming your behavior, emotions, and thoughts, minute by minute. If you're trying to grow, but you're surrounded by stuff dragging you down, you're just constantly swimming upstream. It's exhausting.
Makes sense. So what does Hill suggest then for actively designing that environment, not just putting up with it?
Yeah, he offers a pretty clear framework. First, your physical space. Clean it up, simplify, get rid of distractions, put important things right in your line of sight. Like put the book you want to read on your desk, not hidden on a shelf. Makes it easier.
A simple friction reduction.
Exactly. Second, think about your people environment. He says, surround yourself with action takers, people who uplift you. Avoid the procrastinators, the doubters. Their energy absolutely pulls you down. It's contagious.
Okay. Physical space, people space.
And third, your digital space. Be really selective about what you consume. Podcasts, YouTube, articles. Unfollow anything that just makes you feel worse or wastes your time. Clean your digital inputs just like you'd clean your room.
Digital hygiene. Okay. Now, it's easy to picture how, like, a messy desk or negative friends could hold us back. But how does this environment idea play out somewhere totally different, like Wall Street? What does Peter Tuchman's experience tell us about maybe the ideal ecosystem for high performance?
Yeah, this is where Tuchman's insights get really sharp.
Yeah.
He thrived in that old NYSE floor environment, that chaos, that adrenaline.
Yeah, you see the pictures, the shouting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That super physical, human, high-energy place wasn't just his office. It was a specific physical and social ecosystem. It constantly engaged his brain, motivated him. The instant feedback, the collective buzz, the unspoken accountability from everyone around him was all part of his success engine.
That is such a powerful contrast to today, isn't it? And the Tuchman points out now so many retail traders are just alone in their office by themselves. He even says, God bless them, I don't know how they do that. Why is that isolation such a big deal, such a challenge?
Well, because that isolation, he says, it often leads straight to bad habits. If you don't have that external environment reinforcing the right things, and you don't listen to the right voice inside the disciplined one, you lose all that valuable external feedback. That accountability loop is broken. There's no one there to subtly course correct you, no shared energy to keep you sharp. You're just left alone with your own internal chatter, which, for a trader especially, can be a really dangerous place to be.
Wow. Okay. So environment matters hugely. And beyond environment, there are systems. Napoleon Hill stresses this. Willpower alone is not enough. Willpower gets you started, maybe, but systems are the tracks that keep you on course. How do systems work like tracks?
Precisely. Systems are like a personal commitment that operates independently of your mood or emotion that day.
Okay. Takes some decision out of it.
Exactly. It turns a wish into a schedule, a dream into a habit, an aspiration into an almost automated routine. Things like reading 10 pages each morning before you even check your phone, or running for 30 minutes every day at the exact same time.
A routine.
Yeah, or habit stacking. He'll love that too. Like, after I make my morning coffee, then I'll write down 3 ideas. The core message is crystal clear. Stability comes from systems, not from fleeting inspiration. They save your willpower for the real challenges, because the routine stuff just happens.
And Peter Tuchman absolutely reinforces this for trading. Successful traders, he explains, they use specific disciplined systems. What do those actually look like in trading?
He gives concrete examples, like having non-negotiable rules. Maybe only trading stocks that trade, say, a minimum of 1 million shares a day just to make sure there's enough liquidity you can get in and out easily.
Okay, a volume rule.
Right. Or for specific types of trades, like trend trades, they follow strict technical rules. Maybe buying only when a stock pulls back to a specific moving average, like the 9 or 15 EMA. These are common indicators that help show the short-term trend. Yeah. And these aren't just like vague guidelines. They're the fixed tracks of their system. The goal is to remove emotion entirely from the decision-making process. Follow the system, not your gut feeling.
So whether you're, I don't know, building a writing habit or making million-dollar trades, stability comes from those predefined tracks.
Okay, this all logically leads us to mindset, doesn't it? Cultivating an unshakable mindset. Napoleon Hill really hammers this. Every result in life is just the tip of the iceberg. What truly determines everything is your mindset.
Yeah, he contrasts two fundamental mindsets. There's the fixed mindset, right? The voice that says, I'm just not good enough, or this is just who I am, I can't change.
We all hear that sometimes.
We do. And then there's the empowering growth mindset, which pushes back with, okay, I don't know this yet, but I can learn, or I can definitely improve day by day. And a critical part of making that shift, taking 100% responsibility.
It's moving from, why is this happening to me, to, okay, what must I change? That shift puts you back in the driver's seat. You become the creator of your life, not just a victim of circumstances.
And Peter Tuchman's advice to traders, it lines up perfectly. He just says flat out, never get emotional about money. Why is that so incredibly hard for most people? And why is it so vital for success in that field?
Oh, it's incredibly hard because money, it's tied to everything, isn't it? Survival, status, ego, self-worth. It just triggers these really deep emotional buttons.
Chicken greed, right?
Exactly. Tuchman stresses you have to think before you act.
Yeah.
You have to be disciplined. You cannot let those greedy emotional impulses take over because they almost always lead to bad trades, losing money. He points out we all have those two voices constantly battling, the greedy emotional one and the disciplined consistent one.
Right.
The successful trader, he argues, just knows which one to listen to and, maybe more importantly, which one to tell to shut up.
Huh. Yeah. And Hill's take on this strong mindset, it isn't about pretending everything's great all the time, is it? It feels more robust than that.
Definitely not toxic positivity. For Hill, a strong mindset isn't about ignoring reality at all. It's about facing reality and still choosing a more empowering belief. And crucially, acting even when you feel nothing, feel completely uninspired.
Okay.
It's being able to say, yeah, I'm struggling right now, but I am not defeated, or, man, I'm tired, but I'm still going to do what needs to be done. It's an active choice you make again and again.
Tuchman sees a huge pitfall for the unsuccessful traders. They love to blame everybody but themselves for losing money.
Okay.
He specifically mentions the algorithm narrative, the computers are rigged or that the market makers are out to screw you. It sounds like classic fixed mindset stuff.
Totally. Textbook excuses, right? They stop traders from actually looking at their own actions and learning. To counter that, Hill talks about building an anti-quitting reflex.
An anti-quitting reflex. How does that work?
It's when your mind starts playing those greatest hits, like, I can't do this, I'm too tired, this is pointless. You learn to just observe those thoughts instead of automatically obeying them.
Like stepping back from them.
Exactly. You notice them, acknowledge them maybe, but then you remind yourself of your original why. Why did you even start this? It's about building that inner resilience, not letting temporary feelings or setbacks define you.
Peter Tuchman gives such a concrete example of this, of disciplined resilience, his 3 losing trade rule. If he has 3 losers in a day, he says, I turn the machine off, I go home, I'm having a bad day. It's not quitting the game.
No.
It's strategic self-preservation, knowing when to hit pause before you spiral. That's a really powerful, often overlooked kind of discipline, isn't it?
It's incredibly powerful. And it's exactly what Hill means when he says, rest is not failure. It's part of the strategy of persistence.
Ah, okay. Rest is strategy.
Yeah. It's about getting back up after the fall, sure. But also about trying again the 100th time without bitterness over the 99 that failed.
Yeah.
And Tuchman's rule, it's not just resilience, it's developing this dispassionate, almost scientific way of learning from failure. It's a strategy for emotional recovery just as much as it is for physical persistence. You protect your capital and your mental state.
So let's talk mastery. Why do some people reach that top level in their field while most of us, well, we stay average? Is there some secret key?
Well, the answer from Napoleon Hill is almost disarmingly simple. And often overlooked, because we're all looking for shortcuts, right? It's deliberate repetition.
Deliberate repetition.
Yeah.
Okay. So a master is someone who didn't stop at the 10th try, who kept going even after the 1,000th repetition. That makes sense for building skill, muscle memory, but Hill suggests it's deeper than that, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, much deeper. He says repetition actually reprograms your identity.
Reprograms your identity.
Yeah. You're not just doing something better through practice. You are becoming the kind of person who does that thing. The repeated action literally shifts how you see yourself. That practice, even when it feels tedious, isn't just about the output. It's about the internal transformation happening alongside it.
Peter Tuchman's own story kind of shows this, right? He was famously the last broker on the NYSE floor to dish his paper pad for a computer. He admits he didn't like tech, didn't like change.
Hated it, yeah.
But he had to pivot. He learned, maybe the hard way, that life is going to change with you or without you. Resisting doesn't stop it.
Yep.
So his adaptation, even though he didn't want to, that shows consistent, deliberate action-facing change. He became a more adaptable trader, not because he suddenly loved computers, but because the environment demanded it, and he repeated the necessary actions.
Exactly. And Hill gives us this great reframe for when that repetition gets, well, boring. He says, boredom is a sign something great is forming.
Boredom is a good sign.
In this context, yes. The average person quits when it gets dull. They mistake monotony for meaninglessness. But the person aiming for exceptional understands. Those monotonous reps, those quiet, unseen hours, that's where the real mastery is forged. That's where the skill gets burned in, becomes automatic, becomes part of who you are.
Wow. Okay, so this all seems to boil down to the extraordinary power of just small steps, almost invisible power. Hill says success is not an event. It is the compounded outcome of countless invisible actions. Can you give us some examples of those invisible actions?
Yeah, think super small, like write one paragraph today, fold your blanket when you get up, walk for just 10 minutes. These aren't heroic, tweet-worthy accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
They're small, consistent actions. They're the antidote to procrastination. They're the fuel for momentum.
Yeah.
Each tiny step done again and again over time, it compounds into something really significant. It's that daily quiet commitment, not the occasional grand gesture, that actually built empires or habits or skills.
And for keeping that momentum going, avoiding burnout when you're taking all these small steps, Hill has this great piece of advice. Do just enough, finish while you still want to do more.
This is so key. It stops you from burning out. It keeps that little flame of consistency alive and burning.
How does it do that?
Because you leave the task feeling kind of energized, or at least not totally depleted. You feel like, okay, I could do more, but I'll save it. It ensures you're actually eager, or at least willing, to come back to it tomorrow instead of dreading it because you exhausted yourself yesterday. It's like a sustainable energy management plan for the long haul, for the marathon of mastery.
What an incredible journey we've taken today, really digging into the foundations of success.
Yeah.
From understanding that bedrock of consistency, battling internal resistance like procrastination, to deliberately shaping your environment, cultivating that unbreakable mindset. It really does seem to come down to those quiet, daily, almost unseen acts.
It really does. And maybe to leave you, the listener, with a final provocative thought from Napoleon Hill. You don't need superpowers to change your life.
Okay.
You only need to understand that success doesn't come from one heroic act. It comes from thousands of small, repeated actions no one else sees. So the real question for you now is, are you willing to do that unseen work? Are you willing to just repeat the right thing day after day until you become extraordinary?